Yeah, check, check it. I'm up early in the morning, yawning. Put Opie Anthony, yeah, Jimmy Tranny pawning. Opie like brother man, Aunt wants to join the clan. Jimmy on the other hand, he working the other hand.
Turn my headphones up. They're horrible people to say in this old objectionable human beings, and I want you to know unacceptable to my scene, but I'll give it a go. 50 Cent, Larry King, Opie and Anthony show. Go.
I know you're feeling the flow, while Opie's mother hucking Jim's trying to get blown. And we come to play around and we still in the show. I know you never heard nothing like this before.
How important is your board? Bored you'll never be, and don't worry about getting shot when you're with Anthony. Oh yeah, on the edge of your chair. Cause you really want to hear Opie, Anthony, and Jimmy. Just keep it right here.
It's the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, check it. It's the Opie and Anthony show. Yeah.
It's the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, 50. Yeah. Now Mike Tyson up in this bitch. It's the Opie and Anthony show.
Enough of this palaver. Let's get this show on the road.
Friday. Good morning, everyone.
TGIF, everybody.
Yeah.
TGIF.
Yeah.
When?
Where's the plane?
Oh, my God.
Me and Anthony were having a little discussion before the show.
I'm on high alert.
You're creeping me out.
I'm on high alert. I honestly think we are looking at a horrible delivery system for a weapon. I really think this plane is in some bad people's hands right now and is going to be used for something terrible.
Like a nuke or something.
A dirty bomb. Imagine a 777 loaded with nerve gas, old surplus bombs. It could do more damage than 9/11, that's for sure.
And, of course, we would be the number one target.
Could you imagine the Freedom Tower being taken out? It's like, look, you're not safe. You can't ever be safe.
Yeah.
The problem is the way this thing went off course and the transponders, and there was a couple of them on board.
Right.
And I read they were shut down sequentially.
14 minutes apart.
14 minutes apart.
What is the transponders? What do they do, first of all?
It lets everybody that's tracking aircraft in the world know what plane it is, what type of plane it is, what company owns it.
So there should be a rule that you're not allowed to turn those off ever.
Well, I think you're not supposed to turn them off.
But they were turned off 14 minutes apart, two of them.
Turned off. No wreckage has washed up. Now, after a week, something, a life jacket, a panel, foam rubber, anything has always washed up on shore somewhere when there's been a crash at sea. There's always been something.
Hold on. What if the crash is in the middle of the Indian Ocean, though? Wouldn't that take a little more time?
It might. But, again, why would you fly to the middle of the Indian Ocean before ditching the plane?
Well, if everyone was, if we had a Payne Stewart situation.
It's not looking like that.
Or if we had a pilot that didn't feel like living anymore.
It was too calculated from the time that they lost track of it till the potential of how far it could have gone. There's too much that could have gone on, that was going on. The shutdown of the transponders. I don't know. Could you imagine a terrorist organization getting a hold of a fucking airliner?
Here's my thing,
that?
too. How far away is by like Indonesia?
Yeah.
So it's really
they already said
far from here.
They already said they could make it to Pakistan with the fuel they had.
Yeah. Yep. And there's plenty of other islands, remote places that if you're a terrorist organization, Al-Qaeda, whatever, that hasn't done anything major since 9/11, but they're planning. They plan things. I honestly think, like, the United States ought to start doing some 24/7 patrols of the East and West Coast with the air defenses.
Well, the thing that caught us off guard on 9/11 was there were planes that left Newark
You're right.
Airport and Boston.
Yeah.
So there's no time to react. It's kind of hard to fly a plane from here, from Pakistan.
It's not.
Without the military picking it up?
Without it, no. I was telling Opie the same thing. During 9/11, we all had this sense that you can't just fly a plane into a building, or, oh my God, the Pentagon, there's got to be anti-aircraft weapons. We all thought there was something in place to stop that. Unless the transponder on a plane is on, you can't identify it as even a plane with just radar. And if it's flying low, it's even harder. It could turn up as a flock of birds or a small plane or nothing at all. Without that transponder, that's the rules of the air are you have your transponder on. That identifies your plane as to what it is, how big it is, what type of plane, the company that it's flying, the flight number, all that shit is told to the people through the transponders. You shut those off, you can't track everything that's in the air just on radar. So is it possible to intercept it and shoot it down? Or of course it is. But is it a definite? No. Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Although, would it be shot down? Now, if there's, let's just say, okay, to go with Anthony's theory, let's say that you're right. And let's say that those people are still alive. And they're told, they don't know the whole world's looking for them because they have no communication.
Boy.
Maybe they say, we are negotiating for your release. And then one day they say, we've negotiated your release. Get on the plane.
Yeah.
And they don't know that the entire fucking bottom of it has been loaded.
Oh, my God.
Now that plane can't be shot down because the whole world knows there's 200 people on it.
You'd have to shoot down 200 people. Imagine that call. Imagine making that call. Hey, we got to fucking just incinerate you guys because... And think about it with nuclear material, not an atomic bomb, but nuclear material crashing in. All that dust we saw on 9/11, could you imagine that being irradiated and blowing over a city like New York? It's horrifying to think that this is now not something that is just to be laughed at. Is it definite? Again, no. But it's not just something now to be oh, you crazy conspiracy guy.
Right.
This should be... like one of the number one things that crosses the president's desk in the morning because it's a viable threat to this country.
You're creeping everyone out, man.
I know, but it should be looked at. We should do patrols like we used to with the Soviet Union, the old Eagle and the Bear patrols, 24/7 up and down the East and West Coast.
How about the plane is just in the bottom? It's at the bottom of the ocean.
Could be, but again.
What about the black box?
Always shows up. There's been no pinging off a black box.
Could that mean that it's at the bottom of the ocean?
It could, but again, no wreckage, no savages on some fucking little island saying, I saw smoke one day, we heard a bang. No sign of a crash has turned up, and every single crash that there's ever been in modern aviation history, something turns up. A fucking piece of foam rubber, a panel off of the galley, something.
I believe, though, we're constantly looking. You know, at 9/11, we were caught with our pants down, as they say.
Right.
But now I think we're much more aware
have you heard
of delivery systems and other things that could be done.
Have you heard anyone from any administration saying, hey, not to panic anyone, but we are keeping tabs?
I'm sure they're doing some stuff they don't want to tell anybody. You would assume that, right?
You would assume.
And it doesn't help that Malaysia is a third world country.
Third world fucking country.
And they don't have their shit together.
That plane's painted all nice. Don't let it fucking trick you, though.
Oh, the paint job is beautiful.
Exactly. Don't let it trick you that this country knows what the fuck they're doing or isn't corrupt enough and poor enough to want to take maybe some of that huge Muslim Arab money.
So you mean maybe one of the pilots, even if he wasn't radicalized,
in on it, right?
Oh, we were discussing that. How easy would it be to just show up at one of these pilots' residencies and just have a talk with them?
Say, hey man, how about we behead your whole fucking family, or
you could join our side,
or you let the guy in first class fucking come up front during the flight,
right?
Or you just take it here.
Or
you take it here. They would probably wouldn't,
I would assume that would be a possibility.
There's so many possibilities.
You could talk maybe one pilot in the world to,
It's horrifying.
But the whole fucking, maybe the plane, if the phones are taking off everybody on the plane.
Right.
And they tell them, look, you're being taken hostage. We're not going to crash the planes. This is not 9/11. We're taking your phone. And then
you're
they land
at 35,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting a signal. first of all.
Right.
That's a great time to fucking collect up everybody's communication devices. And then now you're a hostage with no recourse. It's a horrifying prospect that I think really ought to be starting to be looked into.
Very good question. Why is the pilot able to turn off the transponder if it's that important?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah,
why would there ever be a reason to turn that thing off?
There's always been this trust of the pilots that they're not
ridiculous.
doing anything bad. They're to be trusted. And, obviously there's also other things on there like breaker. Everything has a breaker on it that if, let's say there was a problem with the transponder, that all of a sudden a warning light comes on that says there's a short and there's a potential hazard.
Right.
The pilot needs that ability to shut that system down.
Right.
It's
14 minutes apart is a little freaky.
That is freaky.
That
means that somebody changed that course of that plane, and it wasn't one of those situations of decompression or everybody being knocked out.
Or did they turn off on their own because of something going on in that plane?
A major failure.
Yeah, major.
Maybe, but
failure.
I mean, a lot of aviation experts and pilots themselves are saying this looks like a deliberate act.
Oh my God!
Of shutting these systems down.
Then why 14 minutes apart? Sorry, why 14 minutes apart? Why do you tip your hand like that instead of just doing them together?
I don't know.
Or maybe the pilot wanted to commit suicide. And he just didn't want people to know where that plane was.
Again, wreckage.
And what he was up to.
Wreckage.
But in the middle of the
wreckage.
Indian Ocean, I'm thinking.
Like I said, it always turns.
I'm holding
up.
out a little hope.
A week later, something washes up.
That part of it is crazy. You would assume somebody would have saw something.
A bloated body somewhere on some beach somewhere, a fucking piece, something that would have. There's a lot of shit that floats on a plane.
Not if it's 2,000 miles out. If it did have a mechanical failure, and if they dig one in the middle of the Indian Ocean or wherever it was, if it's 1,800 miles. 90 miles, yeah, but 1,800 miles, something might not necessarily have washed up yet.
Yeah, message in a bottle. Sometimes those take, 20, 30 years.
Yeah, that's true, but the little bottle's a little smaller than a fucking plane. It's scary. It's a scary prospect that I just think people ought to be directing a little more attention to at this point because it's a dangerous situation. Imagine a terrorist organization having a delivery system that could reach this country at will. It's scary.
Yeah,
that's a missile. It's like, hey, you have a guided fucking missile now.
Right.
Now you just got to load it up with something dangerous and fly it into the fucking Freedom Tower, Manhattan.
I think you should have left your paranoia at home. You're freaking everyone out.
I know.
Brian in Charlotte. What's up, Brian?
Hey, let me tell you, if Tony's wrong on this one, we're going to see this fucking plot at the Oscar next year because that's unbelievably
amazing.
Crazy.
And if it's true, holy shit.
It's crazy scary.
How far of a flight is, say, Pakistan, though? Meaning maybe the U.S. is not the target with it.
It might not be, of course.
Because it was maybe the Soviet Union is, or because it was something closer.
Yeah. Moscow, something like that. You're right.
That's a long way to bring a fully loaded 777 without detection.
Yeah.
Because there's always something that can, from Boston, and we almost had the military planes here
maybe
on time.
London. There's plenty of other Western type nations that would be great targets. Obviously, we're the big prize, but
that's a long flight.
It is a long flight, but it's doable, which is very fucking scary.
But to take that chance to go through all this and then go that far hoping to be undetected doesn't seem feasible. That's a long way to go without being detected. And again, on 9/11, no one knew it was happening. It was a complete fucking surprise. Right. The jets almost got here on time from these. Like, they missed it by a few minutes getting here on time.
But they also had transponders. They enough so they were on long enough where they knew. At that point, they had them on radar and could track them with the transponders off. Well, they knew it was coming. And then after knowing that planes were hijacked, they were able to track them.
We got one thing going for us, though.
Yeah.
Liam Neeson.
Well, that's true.
We do have Liam.
Liam Neeson knows how to deal with these situations.
Yes, he does.
And I am assuming he's on that plane. So he's taking care of business right now.
The plane has been taken. taken.
Did he say that?
Yes. He's like, you're about to be taken.
He did say that in that movie?
In Taken. And then in Taken 2, he goes, me and your mother are going to be taken.
They probably make him say it. He's probably, can I just say it another way? Like, no, it has to be
we're
taken.
Gonna, kidnapped or something. No, it's got to be taken. That's the
movie's
title
called
of the movie.
Taken.
Taken.
Called Taken.
We're about to be soy sauced head.
Yes, we're about to have California rolls rubbed on our scalp and eaten. We're about to have delicious sushi treats dipped into our scalp.
Yeah.
Oh boy, just find the plane, please.
Anything would help. Like fucking just a panel of cargo door, a piece of the tail.
Passport.
Right. Anything. A passport, you're right. All that luggage, all those things that something, a ship might find, a bump into, it would have washed up on a beach, something. Nothing being found in this day and age is insane.
Well, the Indian Ocean, what does that lead to?
Yeah. India.
Just close to Pakistan.
Yeah.
And then what else? Like, how long of a flight is that? Does anybody know, like, a rough idea?
It would have been, the Andaman Islands, they're thinking. I mean, it's on the course that the plane deviated to.
Well, they're saying it flew toward that island on purpose.
Toward the island. Yeah, now they're saying on purpose.
Let's see what this guy's saying.
Airplane may have been flying toward your home, and that there is a possibility it could have landed there. We know that there's an Indian naval base. We know that they have an airstrip. We know there are other airstrips on the island. Do you know anything about the possibility that a big plane,
we would have known by now,
landed anywhere near where you live?
They're not training satellites on that fucking island?
There is no such chance that any aircraft of this size can come towards Andaman and Nicobar Islands and land in any island. As of now,
very hard to hide a fucking 777
all of them
from radar. I mean, from a satellite.
That was where it went. Wow.
Which is India.
They're sure it went in that direction, right? At this point,
they're sure it turned in that direction. Whether it turned again after they shut everything off, they're not sure.
But the chances are, apart from these 4 airstrips, it cannot land in any other island. And with the kind of surveillance, regular 24-hour surveillance done by the Andaman and Nicobar Command, there are no chances that such a big aircraft coming towards Andaman can be missed.
Okay, so Mr. Giles, let me repeat what you're saying just so we're clear. You're saying you've heard nothing about this, and you would know because there are only a few airstrips. They are under mostly Indian Naval Command, so it would be immediately discovered if a plane of this size were to land there. You've heard nothing like that.
All right, so
yes,
if an airstrip was carved out of the jungle somewhere, I mean, if you're a terrorist organization that's going to this extent, you did some pre-planning. Like 9/11, obviously, years in advance, they were planning things.
Well, there's holes in your plot, according to Tom. Tom in Jersey, go ahead.
Hi, sweeties. I mostly agree with Anthony here, but you got to think, and as wonderful as the government is, that they have to be watching the major terrorist organizations to see if something like this happens.
You'd think.
What they're doing. To see, I mean,
not to look.
They would make it to the American soil.
Not to just use this as an excuse to bash the Obama administration, but we all know that the focus on Muslim terrorist groups has really been under Obama. They're not fucking paying attention as much as they should be. For the love of God.
I don't know. Obama's been sending some Predator drones.
Yeah.
I kind of like the fact that he's disappointing every liberal.
The usual suspects, though. I mean, this...
well, you got to think that it's as high profile as this story is, and potential, like you said, the potential for a terrorist organization, it can't be not watching it. They may not tell us until it's over, but they have to be watching.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, I'd like to believe that, but again, I mean... Before 9/11, we were all under the impression that this was impossible, could never happen. Remember, you thought there were guys with fucking missile launchers on the roof of the Pentagon and the White House, and, they can't possibly get a plane there. It would be shot down, and then boom, 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 nothing.
Well, I'm sure we've put things in place since 9/11, though, thank God.
Could be.
You would assume, right?
You'd assume.
Thank you, Tom.
All right, punch out, boys.
All right, but they're saying there's no chance that plane is on that island.
No chance.
What is it, the Andaman?
Yeah.
The Andaman Island or Islands?
Yeah.
Well, they may have turned it, like if you said, if they turned it off and went one way, maybe 15 minutes later, they come right back around the other.
Right.
If it was that deliberate. But how do they know 15 minutes apart? I guess they can.
They have so much shit that is transmitted from these planes.
But they're also saying that the pilot could have saw that there was a major problem with the aircraft and was trying to turn it all the way around and go back to where it came from,
Then why
and
shut
didn't
off?
make the whole turn for whatever reason.
Why shut the transponders off then?
Is it possible one was turned off and one malfunctioned? Like maybe you said one was a major problem, turned it off, and then the other one malfunctioned.
Possible.
Or whatever the problem was on the plane caused the transponders.
But why didn't he get?
Maybe it was a fire. Maybe it was I don't know.
Again, wreckage.
Some kind of electrical fire or something.
Wreckage. No distress signal have been sent.
Yeah, nothing.
I mean, they didn't get any. The pilot didn't get on the horn and start saying, "Hey, we have an emergency up here. We have a fire. We've had rapid decompression. We had nothing." It just.
This plane was taken.
It's really
what
I honestly think this plane was fucking. Whether it's still in one piece, whether it was drilled into, I don't know. But I absolutely, based on what I've heard, and everyone's speculating, but those small pieces of information that these pilots and other aviation experts and the guy that was in charge of the Flight 800 investigation and stuff. I mean, all these people are saying this looks like a deliberate takeover in the cockpit, whether it was the flight crew, whether it was an intruder into the cockpit, they don't know. But it's not looking like something happened up there as far as an accident goes.
Wow.
Frightening.
You have to think the pilot would be
someone has a missile. Someone has a fucking missile.
How do we have fun now?
I don't know.
Well, I love what
I don't know.
I love looking at a big map that the U.S. is not on, which means we're nowhere near.
Right now, yeah.
They're not sneaking a 777 across the ocean. No.
Yeah, but if they hit Israel or somewhere else, that could cause some.
They could do
some major problems in this world.
Yeah, or I mean, if you're flying,
major fucking problems.
If you're flying, a few hundred feet above the ocean, you're not going to be fucking seen. Just not.
Unless it's a chance sighting by another plane or a chance sighting by a ship or something.
Yeah, but if you're not in,
at night.
there are actual fucking lanes that the planes use. You can just fly the fucker. It's doable, is what it is, and that's the scary part. It's not an impossibility.
Did you get all this from your boys at Fox or
Fox News, my friend? No, I was reading the Wall Street Journal articles. A lot of legitimate news outlets. And,
this isn't just
some experts.
Yeah, this isn't just conspiracy sites.
No,
this has hit some of the other places.
False flag operation.
How far is it from Israel? That's a good question. How far?
They could plow right into Israel. And jet fuel isn't hard to come by. It's it's fucking kerosene. It's easy to fucking fuel up a goddamn jet.
So if it's somewhere close, it could just be a full plane load of fuel into something.
Yeah, you can do that.
And if it's far, it could be loaded with weapons.
Oh, there's plenty of fucking weapons laying around over there in that area of the world. Fucking all those. Imagine nerve gas, or this could be terrible. Panic, everyone, panic.
Jesus.
Panic.
Yeah, what could be the target over there if it's that far?
Just find wreckage today, please.
I know, right? A little bit of wreckage, and everyone would just go, all right. It fucking crashed.
You see the seriousness of this when you watch the news channels. They're all like, where the hell is this plane?
Where is it? But there isn't enough information to totally run with it and go, hey, there's danger. So they're like, well, it could be. But, I mean, this is going on a long time to not see any piece of this fucking plane in an area where there are a lot of islands, a lot of
the pilot knew there was a major problem and thought his best shot was getting to that Andaman Islands
and shutting off the transponders.
Well, the major problem caused that.
Big thing.
Major problem caused that.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I don't know.
No, and
I think that's my shot to land
not
this
one
thing.
fucking getting on the radio and saying we're going to try for this island
maybe
because
all
we
that
have
was
a problem.
Maybe all that was turned off.
Yeah,
by the problem on the plane.
And the engines that they're saying, that signal that is sent from the engines, it's 4 hours of flying. The thing did fly for 4 hours.
Are you sure? Because they're still conflicting.
Malaysia's saying no, but it works like OnStar. The signal comes from the engine, regardless if they pay for the service or not. You have to, if you're American Airlines, you say, all right, I'm going to pay Rolls-Royce for this service. I want to know how long these engines are running, whatever.
Right.
And then you pay, like OnStar. Malaysia, being a third world country, they're not paying for the service. But that doesn't mean the signal isn't still going out and can be looked at. So Malaysia's saying, we don't have any fucking signal from the engines. But meanwhile, Boeing and Rolls-Royce are going, yeah, it flew for 4 fucking more hours.
So this is something that the pilots can't turn off, is this signal?
No, they can't turn that off.
Do you think the Malaysian government or somebody in there is behind it? I mean, is it possible?
I just think they're not competent enough.
Okay.
They're not wealthy enough to have the resources to check this out.
Yeah, maybe they're giving 30 or 40 million for a plane or whatever it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for fucking just for the plane alone. They're not subscribing to the old how long of the engine's running thing.
Do you think they kill the pictures or the people or no?
Again, that
scenario,
scenario of having hostages on the plane as it's flying as kind of a, hey, you want to shoot this down, you're still going to kill this many people.
If you're willing to take the plane, you're getting rid of the people immediately.
Or you hold them as hostages for bail.
Hostages, right.
Yeah, they're valuable.
We would have heard something by now if it was a hostage situation.
Not if they're going to use it for something, load up the cargo.
I don't think it's a hostage situation.
Yeah. They might.
I mean, maybe going with your theory, they just wanted the plane, and that was good enough.
That makes sense, though. If that's why a terrorist organization wouldn't have taken credit, though. Like, if that was what it was, that's the only answer to why they don't take credit.
Because they still want to do something with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to
hijacked and landed. Hold on, Fox. Big question mark.
You burn the fuel down. It's light. You can land on a very short runway.
The breaking developments straight ahead.
Boy.
Why would you say straight ahead?
And another developing story involving a plane right here at home.
Terror on the tarmac.
We are evacuating the plane. Oh my God.
Nothing.
Good find.
Oh my God. The plane is on fire.
It wasn't on fire.
The nose wheel collapsed. On
it was trying to take off when the wheel, right?
Wheel
blew
collapsed
out
on the nose. Yeah.
Oh, was it? I heard it was a flat or whatever.
No,
like
the whole
blowout.
the whole gear kind of collapsed.
Really?
Yeah.
I heard at first it was a blowout.
By the way, you know that story of
as
hijacked
it was trying to take off
is bullshit because it's not the lead story. You don't tease hijacked and landed.
Right.
The missing plane. We'll let you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Coming up at 11.
We'll get back to you with this.
A USS Kidd is heading to the Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
Some kid is going to figure this out.
That's some kid.
It's the headline on CNN.
That's some kid.
Oh, you got some smart kids out there.
Yeah. $1 million richer. Oh, wow. That's where Brian is this morning. He's off trying to play the lottery. Hey, I'm Clayton in for Brian this morning. Hope you're doing well. We begin with a Fox News alert this hour because moments ago we learned investigators in India began looking on land now to find that missing airplane, searching hundreds of uninhabited islands.
Oh, boy.
This is new satellite reports prove the plane may have flown an additional 5 hours after it disappeared from radar. See here on the map, this was the last point at which we had contact. Then it turned possibly and went in that direction. The brand new clues also suggest the flight was, in fact, sabotaged. And according to U.S. officials, someone intentionally shut down 2 separate communication systems. That data reporting system at 1:07 a.m. and then another one, the transponder, just a few minutes later at 1:21 a.m., just before that jet turned. Doug Glazader's live in Washington with more of these latest developments, which change by the minute. Doug, what can you tell us at this hour?
And Clayton, good morning. We have a lot of new evidence and a lot of old evidence, and you combine it all, and it seems to point to something deliberate here. Let's start with what's new, and it has to do with that engine data that was continually pinged during this flight. And the interesting thing about this is that data continued to flow 4, maybe 5 hours after this aircraft otherwise seemed to disappear.
Crazy.
Now, this tells us that the plane kept flying. It doesn't tell us where it was flying. For that, we turn to an old bit of evidence, that Malaysian radar contact. Remember, Malaysian officials said that shortly after this plane took off and the communication equipment was shut down, the plane appeared, or something appeared, to make a sharp turn to the left and then it headed west. All of this indicating that perhaps this was something deliberate.
Jeez. There has to be human involvement here. First of all, even with the transponder, even if there was an electrical failure, there are battery backups for that kind of thing. Second of all, if the plane was in distress, it would have had. There are multiple systems for you could radio for help, you could electronically signal for help.
So now there is a renewed focus on a number of different aspects of this flight, including, for instance, the flight crew. What were they doing in the days leading up to the flight
pilot?
itself?
Oh, boy.
This also has a big impact
that's not good.
on the search area. And we were talking about a relatively limited search area that initially included the waters in and around Malaysia. But the fact that this thing may have been flying for another 4 or 5 hours widens that out significantly. And all of a sudden, you're talking about a pretty good portion of the globe here, maybe as far as the southeast as Australia, as far to the northwest as India. We know now that the search is really beginning to focus on the Indian Ocean. The U.S. is assisting in that effort, but it's not really clear who is ultimately in charge.
Because the wreckage hasn't been found, there's been no country that's responsible and has the authority to conduct a formal aviation crash investigation. So it's really quite a problem because, in fact, as the former chairman of the NTSB, Jim Hall, likes to tell people, you need somebody in charge, and literally at this point, nobody's in charge because there's no country who's heading up the investigations.
That's we mentioned the fact that the United States is helping out. One of the things the Navy has done is they have dispatched the destroyer, the USS Kidd, to the Indian Ocean to help in this effort. But this is going to be a massive undertaking. Steve, Clayton, and Elizabeth,
microscopes on it and things of that nature.
They're live for us this morning with the latest and breaking details. Thanks, Doug.
Just the fact that there were.
All right, he's not going to add anything.
That's legitimately concerned.
There's no one in charge. That's a big thing, too. Like, you need somebody to take the lead on these investigations. And just the fact that it's so up in the air and there's so many countries involved, but nobody really taking the lead, that is detrimental to the investigation. This is just a bad situation, man. This is not a good thing.
I hope you're wrong.
I do, too. I mean,
believe me, and as of yesterday, I would have said you're out of your fucking mind.
I know.
But that 14 minutes apart thing.
Every day that they find other shit, it just.
When I say we will not give up.
Still, after 6 days, no sign of Flight 370.
One thing that will come up.
A bus came offline. If something happened to turn the transponders off, then later other things were turned off 14 minutes later, that would tell me that there was some kind of control, some kind of failure that had to be reacted to. 14 minutes would give you time to transfer the bus power, to deploy the emergency RAM generator.
To radio, that's you have a problem.
How would you then explain?
During, past wars and all that sort of thing.
He's a former
I used to fly
pilot.
a flight instructor out of a little tiny airport near Gainesville, Florida, called Williston, and it was 7,500 feet of concrete, and it was 100. I think it was 100 feet, either 75 or 100 feet wide. You could land a 777 right there. You can land a 777 a lot of places that you can't take off because you burn the fuel down. It's light. You can land on a very short runway.
So where are they looking at this hour? Because this is the fascinating thing is you look at that flight path. They're scouring those flight paths, which, by the way, according to the Wall Street Journal, the flight paths look like they could head towards the Middle East. So right now they're looking at these Andaman Islands and the Nicobar Islands, which have 572 islands there that they have to scour. But only 37 of them are habitable. So they're having to look there. The question, though, is why would you want a plane like this? What would you do with it once you had it? We had Lieutenant General Tom McInerney on the show a little earlier this morning.
Start up your own airlines.
Right? You could do that. Just get your can of spray paint, spray paint over it.
Yeah, why would you want one?
Yeah. Maybe Ted is starting an airline.
I have one plane. Yes. $7 first bidder.
$7. Oh, boy.
It's just looking very...
I bet we'll have some significant info over the weekend.
I hope so. It would be nice.
Significant.
Very hard to hide a plane from the air, from satellites, from spy planes. If you are that worried about this as a country, you would think you would fly around and see.
I'm sure they are. I'm sure they're doing a lot of that stuff.
But then you have to think about another country's airspace. You can't just fly planes over other countries' airspace with, hey, we're going to fucking turn our spy equipment on over your country.
We do that anyway,
fuck
right?
yourself.
With the Predator
drones. We do, but it's kind of a sneaky thing.
You can't get caught.
Yeah.
But wait a minute. Now, those pings in that Rolls-Royce engine, can they be taken out? Meaning, now that everybody knows that they're there, I never knew they were there, and you have to assume people know.
Yeah.
Can Rolls-Royce, I guess, can't track them exactly to where they are. They can just know that they were running. But will it pick up a ping once those engines start again?
Once they turn on again.
And is there a way to disable that?
Who knows?
If there might be no way to disable that.
Right.
But if there is, that's a problem.
Maybe just crack the fucking antennas off. Who knows? It's got to be something that transmits. So it's just if they went to this extent and planned this would be an insane plan to pull off. It would have to be very far in advance, and you would have to have other contingencies, like an airstrip somewhere, a place to hold 200 plus people.
A nice hotel.
What do you do? You got to feed them and keep them in one place. Have facilities for that many people, unless you just fucking shot them right off the bat. And
no way.
It's
no way you shoot them. You can't. It's like to have that many hostages. If things go wrong, it's too valuable. You don't give up fucking 200 and something hostages.
Maybe you shoot fucking 90% of them.
You shoot the hostage.
Shoot the hostage. It's obviously a lot of speculation here, but this is something, again, like Jimmy said yesterday, you're crazy talking like this. Today, it's like, it's at least something to seriously consider.
Well, thanks for that, Ant. That's great.
Hey, no problem.
Wonderful.
Yeah, have a good day, everyone. Have a nice day.
That was pretty convincing, though. That 14 minutes
to the sky
is a big thing.
Yeah.
China wants more info.
I'm sure they do. There's a rogue plane out there. A rogue plane.
Yes, that's what the general will say in the trailer.
Yes.
There's a rogue plane out there, gentlemen, and my job is to find it.
Set up a perimeter. I want a hard target search.
Yeah, fuck.
Well, what else is going on?
Well,
I know we have Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt's coming in for the whole show. He should be here soon.
Oh,
okay,
that's
good.
true.
Yeah.
Oh, is he here for the whole show? Good.
I believe so.
Good.
Yeah.
A big chunk of it.
Didn't he do the Tonight Show the other night?
Yeah.
I saw his Twitter. I didn't see the show.
I would assume, yes.
Yeah, he did
nice.
it last night.
Oh, he did? Okay.
And Maria Menounos is coming in. Supposedly she's like a fan of the show with her husband or something.
Oh, yeah?
I hadn't seen
I think
her
she's
show.
got a reality show or something.
Yeah, I didn't watch it, though.
I didn't watch it either. I meant to, but I didn't. She's going to just come in and say hi. So,
Yeah, I've been busy just taking like little funny pictures of myself. I'm trying to set up a modeling portfolio.
Oh.
It's my new dream.
Oh, my God.
To be a model?
Yes, I want to be a model.
Very good.
Aren't you too old for that? Or
No.
No?
Never too old. That's what they told me.
Okay, all right.
I heard that message.
Were these pictures on your Twitter? Or?
No, just in my home computer.
Oh.
Me smiling, like making wry faces.
When are we going to get to see them?
Coy?
Once my entire portfolio is complete.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Do you do any cheeky shots?
Sure I do.
How about coy?
Mid-laugh.
Yeah.
I'll make myself laugh about something.
Yeah.
Like I'll just think of one of the clever things I've said, and then in my mid-natural laugh, I'll hit the camera button and let that magic be captured for my new modeling portfolio.
Very good.
We got a guy that wants to join your panic party.
All right.
Let's say hi to Steve in Indianapolis.
Yes.
Hey, boys. Yeah,
Hello.
I'm into this little panic party. So here's the take. These guys have been planning this out for years. They have to anticipate that everybody be looking for them short order, looking for the damages or looking for the aircraft or whatever. So they probably are going to carry this out, the final act, whatever they're going to do with the plane, within the next 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, look at this guy.
Wait, why, sir?
Doomsday preppers, buddies. Yeah, so the deal is that they're gonna take this plane, wherever they have it now, and do something with it in short order. They're not going to sit on it because they realize that everybody, they probably didn't anticipate this OnStar accessory that they have on the engines. So they realize that they've got to do something really fast with it, running into another airport or, a building or something like that.
I say this, I don't believe that they didn't know about the OnStar thing, because if you can make a 777 disappear with the technology we have now,
amazing.
You're probably aware that the OnStar thing was there, and maybe they knew it couldn't be traced.
And it doesn't track, you can't track the plane with it. So it's kind of inconsequential.
Is there no way to track that, though? How can you not have any way to track that?
It's fucked up. Without that transponder, it's just another thing in the air that, you see those computer, when you punch up how many planes are in the air at any given moment, and it's just fucking thousands. It could be anything. Flock of birds. Radar picks up all kinds of shit. It could be anything.
I was reading about that Boeing plane that was stolen in 2003 that they never found.
Wow, really?
Yeah. It was taken. It was taken from an airport in Angola, and they never found it.
Wow.
Never. And that's
building up a fleet.
But nothing ever happened to the plane, and they
maybe that was just a dry run, though.
They dismissed terrorism like 5 years later because nothing ever happened.
And they never found it.
They never found it.
But that wasn't a plane full of people either.
No.
And it was taken from the ground, right?
It was two people that just took the plane, turned the transponder off, and just flew without clearance.
John Travolta did it.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
But the FBI and the CIA, they got involved in everything, and nobody ever found anything.
Damn.
You know what? Maybe that's something they want to do. They got two planes. Although you don't intentionally take one and hold it you don't hold a plane for 11 years.
11 years.
Hope nobody finds it.
All right, here's the plan.
Yeah, and you got to fly those planes around. They need, constant maintenance, and can't just leave a plane sitting.
Maybe they take off with it once in a while and zip it around the island.
Zip it around.
Right back down.
Be fun.
We have 9 minutes of fuel, gentlemen.
Just taking them for joy rides.
Yeah.
Because they can. All right, we got food, and we got Patton Oswalt is here. So why don't we take a break here? And Patton's going to join the show next day.
And there was a couple of them on board.
Right.
And I read they were shut down sequentially.
14 minutes apart.
14 minutes apart.
What is the transponders? What do they do, first of all?
It lets everybody that's tracking aircraft in the world know what plane it is, what type of plane it is, what company owns it.
So there should be a rule that you're not allowed to turn those off ever.
Well, I think you're not supposed to turn them off.
But they were turned off 14 minutes apart, two of them.
Turned off. No wreckage has washed up. Now, after a week, something, a life jacket, a panel, foam rubber, anything has always washed up on shore somewhere when there's been a crash at sea. There's always been something.
Hold on. What if the crash is in the middle of the Indian Ocean, though? Wouldn't that take a little more time?
Yeah, check, check it. I'm up early in the morning, yawning. Put Opie Anthony, Jimmy Tranny pointing. Opie like brother man, Ant wants to join the clan. Jimmy on the other hand, he working the other hand.
Turn my headphones up. There are horrible people to say in this old objectionable human beings, and I want you to know unacceptable to my scene, but I'll give it a go. 50 Cent, Larry King, Opie and Anthony show.
I know you're feeling the flow. While Opie's mother hucking, Jim's trying to get blown. And we come to play around and we still in the show. I know you never heard nothing like this before.
How important is your board? Bored you'll never be. And don't worry about getting shot when you're with Anthony. Oh yeah, on the edge of your care. Cause you really want to hear Opie, Anthony, and Jimmy. Just keep it right here.
It's the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, check it. It's the Opie and Anthony show. Yeah.
It's the Opie and Anthony show.
Yeah, 50. Yeah. Now Mike Tyson up in this bitch. It's the Opie and Anthony show.
Enough of this palaver. Let's get this show on the road.
Friday. Good morning, everyone.
TGIF, everybody.
Yeah.
TGIF.
Yeah.
When?
Where's the plane?
Oh, my God.
Me and Anthony were having a little discussion before the show.
I'm on high alert.
You're creeping me out.
I'm on high alert. I honestly think we are... It might... But, again, why would you fly to the middle of the Indian Ocean before ditching the plane?
Well, if everyone was, if we had a Payne Stewart situation.
It's not looking like that.
Or if we had a pilot that didn't feel like living anymore.
It was too calculated from the time that they lost track of it till the potential of how far it could have gone. There's too much that could have gone on, that was going on. The shutdown of the transponders. I don't know. Could you imagine a terrorist organization getting a hold of a fucking airliner?
Here's my thing, too. How far away is by like Indonesia?
Yeah.
So it's really
they already said
far from here.
They already said they could make it to Pakistan with the fuel.
Looking at a horrible delivery system for a weapon. I really think this plane is in some bad people's hands right now, and is going to be used for something terrible.
Like a nuke or something.
A dirty bomb. Imagine a 777 loaded with nerve gas, old surplus bombs. It could do more damage than 9/11, that's for sure.
And of course, we would be the number one target.
Could you imagine the Freedom Tower being taken out? It's like, look, you're not safe. You can't ever be safe.
Yeah.
The problem is, the way this thing went off course and the transponders